Yo, what's good, everybody? We are so back, and so is Dogecoin. Dogecoin is going to the absolute moon. We'll see or have a conversation while we wait for the Doge Labs guys to show up. Man, Adam, how are you feeling today?
Bro, you got to bring up the Dogecoin price chart, man. I got to see this. For some reason, my thing stopped working, so I can't. We're on the live stream. We don't have the space on there, but
that's okay.
The price has just been bonkers. Obviously, Bell's coin, because it's tied to Doge. Obviously, people are super psyched, but it ran through the roof. Like I saw Billy tweeting about it. Ran up to what, like 42, 43 cents, some crazy number. I don't know, 100% gain in a day. Just for Dogecoin, people who don't know, the supply of Doge is so huge that it's actually surprising to me that it can run this much. I mean, there's 1 million Doge released in miner emissions every single day. And when you think of all that pen up, that all doesn't get sold every day. That gets held by miners. When you think about their ability to just dump into stuff, it's stunning to me that it moves at all. And for it to have this kind of huge one-day move is just, it's bonkers to see.
Chris, what's thoughts on Doge? How high is this baby going?
Man, I mean, it's crushing it lately, obviously. Another coin that's outperforming Ethereum by a wide margin. Terrible for that community over there. Every single coin outperforms them. It's really bonkers. I don't know. I mean, some of the newer meme coin guys were in the camp of these original meme coins are done for, but that's obviously not the case, right? In my opinion, I mean, if meme coins do become this industry leading sector, then the oldest meme coins would be extremely valuable. So you're looking at 100 billion plus 150 billion, but even those numbers can seem kind of out of whack. I mean, when it's moving, 30 or 40 billion dollars in a day or something like that, 25 billion.
I mean,
Yeah,
Doge obviously is like the most well-known meme coin on the planet. It's impossible to, I think, to topple, the king. Is it possible? I guess something, especially with these coins that have kind of low float held by teams, like some of those could really pump too, obviously. But it's just, to see this, obviously, this is a sign for the entire meme coin space that, this is the meme coin super cycle. Seeing Doge maybe push $1 here, something like that is, man, it's bullish news to all meme coin holders for sure.
if you see Dogecoin flip BNB and Solana, that's when that would be pretty wild. I mean, it's only a double from here for it to flip Sol,
Man,
and be the number 4 spot. Doge Labs, I did send you guys an invite, so yeah, feel free to come up when you guys are ready, and then we can continue the conversation. But I think some of the larger conversations which we're seeing happen in the Bitcoin space right now is that as Bitcoin's been pumping, some of those profits has been rotating into runes and ordinals. Like today, every single ordinal is like up like multiple double digits. Yesterday, that was with runes. So the question is, will we see the same exact thing play out on Dogecoin, which is, the Doginal community set themselves up to be the number 2 inscription kind of ecosystem, battling it out across, what was it, maybe 5 or 8 ecosystems over the last 2 years or so. And we've seen some positive news, right? Doge Labs just had a successful rebrand, which we're going to dive into. We saw the Lake TGE sold out yesterday. Maybe I'll finally get my coins from that first round at the very beginning of the year. Dogefi is building. I saw there's now like a Dogecoin prediction market that someone's building. And then also the Doge Labs team was heavily involved in the ORD upgrade. So, without further ado, I'd love to, continue this conversation. Who do we have behind the Doge Labs account?
Hi, it's Sam.
What's good
This
bro?
time? Yeah, Chris is still traveling a bit, but he will be back in a couple of days. So, how are you doing? Everybody?
We're doing good, bro. I'm excited to, have this conversation. It's been a few months since we've had a Doginals conversation, and the community's been heavily building. I think the community was kind of silent for. I don't know what that was. What was that? The Dogecoin community's been kind of silent for a little while, and then you guys came out, looks like in August, with the ORD upgrade. So maybe we'll just kind of start there. Give us a little bit of information on, what the ORD upgrade was. How difficult was this? I know in the details it says that there was many teams that were involved with this, and what does it mean for the community moving forward?
Yeah, happy to do that. So yeah, we did this like, how long is it ago? I think maybe 2 to 3 months ago, or to be honest, we started with this a lot earlier, because as you saw, we already worked for a while on the new app and moving everything onto mobile and everything a little bit more advanced UX and UI, so that trading is a little bit more state of the art, not hacky as it was for a while, as it was suitable for the space, of course, but now we are evolving, and now it should be a little bit more, user-friendly maybe, ready for retail. And this also involved on our side already to work heavily on the ORD to make it more reliable, faster, and also cheaper to run, because the way that we had it set up was, I think, the right way to go in the beginning, especially because the market was so new. But what like the main or the biggest change was that we, in the beginning, it was like the ort, and on top of it, it was the indexer running. And now we merged the indexer into the ort to make it a lot easier and smoother to run. I assume some others did this already. Maestro, I would guess, is also doing this now because they came in the space a little bit later. So they could just use a fast track and build on top of learnings. But since like, yeah, our stuff is open source, I can only say for sure what we are doing. Yeah, and why do we do this? So we did this to enable for our like new tech, but also because many of the other builders and also newcomers in the space reached out to us for help. And to be honest, helping with our old tech stack was time consuming because it's rather complicated to have it run. So it was also kind of a bit egoistic of us to rather build an open source a new version. So everybody is enabled and can do it easier. But I also think it makes a lot of sense, especially with like centralized exchanges coming in and so on. They have so much to do and they're working on so many changes, so they can't look in all the nitty gritty stuff of Dogecoin and Doginals and DRC-20s. So they need an easy solution to run. So this is, I think, the biggest change that we kicked off. And while doing this, we also thought about and were approached about some protocol upgrades. I think one very obvious one that we all saw was Dunes. So there was already a fork from our ort, and we kind of merged it back. But also stuff like delegation, recursion, which I think is very interesting. We see it more and more, especially delegation being used. I think this is interesting also for like fun projects like mini doges, like they script like this Doom game and whatsoever, and with like delegation, you can actually make a collection out of this, which without like clogging the whole network, you know. Which I think is very interesting. And this is an very good example where we work together with a lot of contributors, especially like Doggy Market, Audifind, Ordinals Wallet, Doginal Hub, and so on, to make sure we have an aligned version, because this is an actual upgrade of the protocol. So all indexers should follow it, you know? Yeah, and I think this was quite a success. And that's also mainly the reason why we open sourced everything. So that everybody can build on top of it. Yeah.
Can you describe what is delegation? I have you actually pulled up on the live stream the game that Mini Doge is built, but what exactly is delegation?
So I think we all know that I'm not a dev, so I can't tell you like all the details, but I can explain it to you from a user perspective. And I think that's pretty interesting. What you basically do, you inscribe like one huge, or it doesn't need to be huge, but mostly it is huge because this is the advantage of delegation, like one parent inscription. And this is usually then like a high resolution image or maybe the game and so on. And then what you can do is after that, you only inscribe delegate inscriptions. So they're pointing to the parent inscription kind of. And with this, you don't need to re-inscribe the same image all over and over again, but you can have like a collection which is all pointing to this one inscription, which is reducing the network load by a lot. And yeah, this is mainly delegation, and recursion is, to my understanding, is that you can even assemble different, I don't know, I don't think parent inscription is the right word for it, but you can assemble different layers to one in another. So this could be like a more complex way of delegation, yeah.
Yeah, I do believe the TAP protocol actually has something like that over on Bitcoin.
Jake, are you hearing the webpage, man?
My bad.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing.
Is that a game that's on Dogecoin right there?
Yeah. So what I was showing was on the live stream was the game that Mini Doges just put out with using delegation, which we were just talking about.
Amazing.
I think he wasn't, just to be precise, he wasn't using delegation for this. Oh, I think my headphones were. Are you hearing me again?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. Okay. So he wasn't using delegation for this exact inscription. I think he wished he would have used delegation for this or would be able to use a delegation for this, because then this could have been the parent inscription and he could make a collection out of it. For this was regular inscription, kind of done.
And I mean, Adam, remember when we had this conversation with Doginals community like a year and a half ago when it first popped up? We were wondering what like the main use case would be, or like what the community would coalesce. And it does seem like gaming was very popular then. It seems like some of the builders are still kind of pursuing that.
I'm still hearing it. Are you hearing the
Oh my god, why is that not?
Dude, that's like a full on like Street Fighter creation.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, looking at where the Doginal community is now, comparative to where it was, let's say, a year ago, there's a lot more infrastructure, but it doesn't seem like it's really caught that attention yet, which makes me wonder, will some of the the Dogecoin profits eventually kind of flow over to the Dogecoin community? But the Doge Labs team has now positioned themselves with a rebrand to try to coalesce some of those new people who may come into the space. So my question is, as you guys have been building, you rebuilt the indexer, and within the indexer you merged DRC-20 and Dunes into the protocol. That's the opposite of what Bitcoin has done, right? Where runes and ordinals are separate, and then DRC-20 is also separate as well. Take us through like the idea of the rebrand, right? You have a different website, even the domain is different, a new logo, the trading experience is much different than what was it before. At what point did you guys decide that this needed to be done? And then, what was the main objectives of this overhaul?
Yeah. So to be honest, it all started with mobile trading. Okay, I think the video is a little bit delayed. I will stop watching the video. Because I thought you started talking. So it started with mobile trading, or us not having mobile trading, because we went away for the extension wallet, like the in vice versa, like Doggy Market, for example, went for an embedded wallet. This makes it a lot easier with everything, kind of. But of course, when you have like an extension wallet in Chrome or wheresoever, or Mozilla, you can also enable other people. So this is the way that we went for in the beginning. But to make this mobile friendly is a lot more work. And we, talked a lot about it, how we can do it and so on. And then decided, no, we're going to also go the way of an embedded wallet. And to do so, we are going to just build a new product, especially because we said, if it's going to be mobile, it needs to be an app. And since a couple of years, the concept of the PWAs came up. I don't know if you followed that. Also, like Web2, web app development and so on, mainly to also pass by the App Store, because as a crypto app, it's annoying to get into like the regular App Store. This is why we decided to go the route that we took. And for us, during the development and during the design, was very important to make sure this is a very state-of-the-art UX and UI, and also to simplify the whole concept of UTXO and especially DRC-20 protocol, like what UTXO chains and the DRC-20 protocol, because for, I think, a regular user, you don't even care if they're like block confirmations that you need to wait for, or like I first need to make a transfer inscription and then send this transfer inscription because it's indexed, and you don't send an actual UTXO and so on. Like, to be honest, who cares? It's a token, and you want to trade the token. And this is what we put the most focus on. So when you now list a token, when you send a token or something, you don't like make a transfer inscription and then select it and send it and so on. You just tell the amount and you send it or you list it, and that's it. And So kind of our app totally ignores transfer inscriptions from a user perspective, which I think is very important. And the other very important part of it was for us, and this took us kind of a lot of work, also from a conceptual level, is that we now consider transactions into the mempool. Like we have this pending state for balances. So when you now send DRC-20 to a new wallet, you kind of see it live in the new wallet, which makes it a little bit more EVM-ish from the user perspective, I would say, because you don't have to wait like 10 minutes until the new token pops up or anything, which I consider pretty important. Yeah, and then I think that the other upgrades are, I don't want to say only cosmetic, because I think there's also other very nice things to it, but these are, from my perspective, the most important things that we, I don't know, were at least the most important to me. And especially with the PWA, to be honest, I love it so much that you can now, I have 9 Doge Labs apps on my phone installed right now, where like for different purposes, one for testing DRC-20s, one for testing Dunes, one, I don't know, whatsoever, a little bit trading, one for my personal stuff. And that's something that's impossible with like regular apps. Yeah, I think I'm very happy about the way that we went. And this also has huge advantages towards like browser-based trading, even though it is technically kind of browser-based trading, but yeah, it more feels like an app.
Very cool. I love that idea. Well, you didn't get into why the rebrand though. What was the reason for the rebrand itself?
Yeah. So first of all, we didn't think that DRC-20.org, of course, this domain will always be part of it. At some point, very soon, actually, there's going to be a redirect to the dogelabs.com. I think also for more retail users, they will always like maybe not feel so comfortable on like a DRC-20.org URL because they don't know what it means. And I don't know. And like dogelabs.com might seem a little bit more legit to people. I don't know, but that's the assumption. And when it comes to the rebranding, for us, it was important that our product, of course, feels like professional and safe, but we don't want to be Magic Eden. We want to be still in this, at least how we feel, that we are part of the community and a little bit stupid. No, but we don't want to take our brand too seriously and so on. And I don't know, we think this beautiful dog represents that very well. But that's only like the first step towards a rebrand. We are currently kind of in the end of what we considered like a very heavy building phase and finishing up everything, polishing stuff, getting a lot of feedback. So thanks for everybody who's listening in and provided feedback. That's very valuable to us. And now we are slowly getting back into more, let's say, an awareness phase where we 100% want to focus on, together with the community, kind of spread the word and hammer into everybody's head that like Dogecoin has their own meme ecosystem for different tokens. And I think this is what everybody just needs to hear. I think most people just don't know about it yet. And I think we did an okay job about this like the last cycle. And this is what we want to do now. Yeah,
I think that's well, you finished you completed your building at the perfect time, right? So it's like literally perfect time. But it's also now is actually more challenging in my view, right? Building it is something, but the awareness, right? How do you get the entire everybody who holds Doge natively to be interested in NFTs and tokens on top of Doge, right? That's actually, I think, more challenging in some ways. What have you seen as like a way, other than projects and stuff, but have you seen a way that's kind of onboarded newbies? Has it been Twitter Spaces, or what's it been, do you think, that's moved the needle the most so far?
this is something hard to answer, of course, because it very depends on the phases that we've been in. Like in 2023, I think not a lot of people noticed it because we didn't see the need to like push it very hard. But for example, we've been very, very heavy in Reddit, for example, telling people about Doginals and so on. And from what we saw, this onboarded a lot of people because this is exactly where people are looking for this like undercover assets that you can invest in, which are very low market cap and so on. So this is definitely something that we're going to look into again, because this is also where the like retail people are in that are not so much into crypto, but most of them hold Doge. And I think this is a very unique peer group that you can look into. And I think there will also be some more Web2-ish onboarding, because again, this is the Doge community to some extent. I have a lot of friends that are not in crypto at all, but I think I told you this like a couple of times already, and they all hold Doge. And now with like Bitcoin going to nearly like 90K and Doge exploding, yeah, most people start to realize it again, right? And I think for me, the natural play will be these people go in, they kind of follow the route of their asset, like they see, okay, I have Dogecoin, and they maybe just stupidly like type in Dogecoin into Twitter and Reddit and see what's going on, and then maybe they find tokens. And this is at least where I would, or where we will focus on. But of course, also talking to like builders. I think what was a huge thing was onboarding my Doge. Or like them onboarding, integrating Doginals. You know, this is like the very OG Dogecoin community, and this makes a lot of sense. So yeah, making it easier, more welcoming for new builders, I think is good. This is where the Doginals community really needs to also step their game up a bit, be very welcoming, and yeah, helping everybody to onboard.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a lot of development activity. I saw that the My Doge team is building something called Doge OS that they've been teasing as well, which is pretty exciting. I do have a question about, so with Doge Labs, the new website you're building towards, you know, the mobile experience with an embedded wallet. What happened to the old website? Is that still available? And the reason why I ask is, you know, web extension wallets are very important, and you know, without a web extension wallet on Doge Labs, the desktop version, I could see that hindering some of the, you know, the potential, I guess, onboarding opportunity, because, you know, some people don't want to go through the extra 4 or 5 clicks.
How do you see this hindering when you don't have, because the like extension wallet is for a very new user, it's a little bit more work, right? You need to like install it and then set it up, and on your website you just need to get in and set up your wallet.
Yeah, so I mean, so like if I'm a trader on a desktop, right? I know you guys are optimizing for mobile, but if I'm a trader and I go to a new website, I just want to be able to connect my web extension wallet, and having to get the private keys and then import it into the embed wallet, right? Or even create a new one, then I have to transfer all the assets over.
Yes. So, okay, I get where you're coming from. So I think this is something that will be important, hopefully a couple of months from now on, because you're gonna need an established wallet to support Dogecoin and Doginals, Dunes, DRC-20s. Otherwise, it doesn't matter at all, you know, because then people will, where they store that, people can't use their wallet where they store their Doge. Like, I don't know, maybe they have a trust wallet where they have Doge in. They won't be able to use it anyways to like engage with any of the Doginal trading platforms whatsoever. So it doesn't make sense to integrate, embed these wallets. As soon as, for example, OKX wallet or Magic Eden or whatsoever, one of these bigger mainstream wallets is supporting Doginals and DRC-20s and Dunes, then it makes sense to reconsider and also enable people to use other extension wallets. this is at least my take on it. Yeah.
It's okay. You could just tell us that you hate dealing with wallets and that it's a bitch to maintain. It's okay. I completely understand.
Yeah, of course, it's a huge pain in the ass from like a tech perspective, but as soon as it makes sense. But at the moment, I don't like. We could integrate our own wallet, of course. But,
yeah. I'm just teasing.
that's
I know wallet maintenance is like it's something that's always breaking and it's a pain to deal with. On the larger scale, then you guys upgraded the indexer, right? You had pretty much all four Doginal marketplaces partake in the indexer, so that it's been unanimous across the ecosystem that this is where the direction's going. Back earlier this year, OKX and a few other exchanges were looking to add support for DRC-20 or for Doginals, and then there was a giant pause. My guess would be because the community or the infrastructure wasn't stable. Has there been any renewed interest from any larger exchange or marketplace in terms of supporting Doginals, DRC-20 or Dunes?
So I think we all know that I can't point any.
No, you don't have to name a specific one, but just is there new interest?
Yeah, so we are definitely talking with some. We also pinged the old contacts when the auth upgrade came up, and this is 100% interesting to them because was a blocker before for them because it's a little bit too complicated or not worth their time, maybe, let's call it this. We're definitely chatting with a couple of them, and from my perspective, there should be good news and rather sooner than later for the space, for the ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, I know non-KYC actively tweeted or openly tweeted that they're interested, and obviously OKX and a few other ones. And you guys, the community's been doing a great job, I guess. I guess I'm not on the other side of this of just pestering Magic Eden and the team, everyone on the team about offering any type of support.
Well, I mean, it's almost like the best thing that gets exchanges interested and actually just community members, brings in new people, is number go up, right?
Yeah.
If Dogi hit whatever $10, right, went from 50 cents to $10 or $20 tomorrow, like people would be talking about it, right? It's like that's the thing that moves the needle more than anything, right? You can talk to your blue in the face. You have to have number movement usually to get people to take action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's also a very important aspect that you bring in. I think this is also demonstrates that our ecosystem, and people can say it's stupid or whatsoever, but I think it demonstrates that our ecosystem is very community driven. So the main assets are not supported by huge projects or whales or whatsoever. And this makes it very hard for them to get into centralized exchanges because then there's no one paying these ridiculous high listing fees and providing liquidity and so on. Tell me that there are not many runes or DRC-20s that have been listed on any centralized exchange without any entity pushing for it or paying the bill, kind of. Binance they will at some point, but only if you have very high volume and very high prices. So for me, this is, of course, it doesn't feel so bullish maybe, but to me, this is very bullish news or signs. Yeah.
As I look at the new website, Doge Labs, there's one new feature on here that I didn't see or that didn't exist on the previous website, which was chat. Could you share some, maybe some alpha or details what this is, and then maybe even any other new features that may be coming to the new site?
Yes. Yeah. So chat is something we found rather funny, interesting. Think of these old troll boxes on, even you still, I think people use it still on CoinMarketCap and so on. You can have it per asset, but we thought, and this might be also a way to go in the future, but at the moment we just wanted to have, and we'll release it soon, a chat where people can I don't know, talk while trading, and it doesn't need to be like you have a full profile yet and so on. It's just, you can dump a message like Doge going up or hating a token or whatsoever, kind of releasing the tension. I think this is at least what I sometimes feel when I'm on the trading platform, and I'm not like talking to anybody while trading, which you can do on Twitter Space or with friends or whatsoever. Then I kind of enjoy being in the chat. Of course, this can be Telegram, but sometimes it's a bit messy. So having a chat that is very dedicated to one trading platform and so on, and where you can just talk about what are you buying today, or you see like the sales flying in live, and then you can act on it or not. We've thought it's rather natural in terms of like trading behavior. This is why we decided about implementing that.
I think it's a nice idea. Obviously, Leo did a nice job on Ord.io with that kind of one. Is it going to be just, I'm assuming since you guys are much kind of smaller community, it's just going to be a general one for the entire platform, right? While Leo's is kind of, I don't know, cordoned off. You have to kind of hold the token to be able to chat, tokens chat. But I'm sure you're going to be more of like just the entire site, right?
So I think there are going to be steps to it. At the beginning, it's going to be, just the entire site. And then we see how it goes and how the usage is and how people like it or not. And if people like it and there seems to be high usage and maybe the chat isn't really usable anymore, then we're going to extend it to like more, like every individual asset. And I think at some point you could also think about doing what you just said, like gated chats or like more advanced user profiles, and you can even think about integrating DNSs,
Yeah, we're gonna Doji gate the chats.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have any questions or any thoughts on the expansion of Doge Labs?
Yeah, I'm mostly interested in kind of like, how have you guys been handling the market internally? What are the differences between maybe like the last month and maybe like the previous 12 months? Are you seeing like not only just like an uptick in usage, but users as well? Or is it the same wallets kind of interacting, or kind of what's the internals look like from your perspective?
Yeah. So first disclaimer, what I haven't done yet is merge the data from new marketplace to old marketplace. So I can't really
just
tell you
specific.
Yeah. So like usage is definitely going up constantly. I can tell it like especially from the release of the new platform to today, the numbers increased by a lot to like 5 digits unique users for what's I don't know, very high. And we also have a lot of unique wallets actually trading, which I think is pretty interesting, and also the volume is going up. So on we also look on, at least we try to have some analytics tools for us that are on a protocol level, not only on our infrastructure. And what we see, the interest is definitely picking up. And I think Jimmy, he's also like in the audience here. Thanks for that. He was also pointing out that like the crazy ride of Dogecoin is, of course, it's helping our ecosystem, but to some extent our ecosystem is looking bad because the price is also going up.
But not enough, right?
Doesn't look like it,
not up enough.
Yes, exactly. Because how can you beat like this crazy Doge at the moment? So I think the ecosystem is doing pretty well at the moment, and it's, of course, everybody is focusing on Doge, and as you pointed out in the beginning, this is just a very natural cycle. Generating value on Doge, on the like parent asset or like the main chain, the network, and then this is going to trickle down into the smaller asset classes. And I think this is what we're going to see within the next 6 months, including a lot of onboarding. So we are feeling very bullish. Otherwise, we wouldn't have invested that much time and money into these new products and so on, and would continue to open source stuff.
How's the team like handling like the momentum shift, or were you guys like really crunching on these timelines? Did you just happen to kind of finish the product release within this time slot, or how are your internals working on basically like goal setting and objective accomplishment, etc.?
So yes, so the last
like, have you slept in the last like
6 weeks?
Or no sleep?
Yeah, not so much. No, not so much anymore, because for some reason we thought it's going to take a little longer. Of course, you could have seen the election coming up, and this, of course, is going to be a huge impact. I thought it would be a little bit less sustainable. Also, let's see how it's going to develop over the next few weeks. But this first push was, of course, very good for the space and for the attention. So yes, we have been focusing. We always just focus on, or try to focus on, one thing, of course, with some little things coming up all the time. This might also be why some people in the community are not so happy with us, like our response rate on tickets and so on. So shipping this marketplace with all the new product features and so on was and still is our first priority. And we definitely wanted to make it, to be honest, we wanted to make it until October, but as it is with development, it always takes a little bit more time. It was already in a pretty good state in October, but yeah, it didn't feel right to release it. We started sharing it though. I think Jackie was one of the first ones who received the link to check it out. Yeah, now we're finishing up, as I told you already, and now it's going to be focus on growth, and that's what we do. And I think we're going to, when you ask, I think you're asking a little bit about like how we operate as a team. So we're going to rent a house pretty soon and work more in this like hackathon mode, because it seems like we need to prepare for a longer bull now. Yes. Yeah, and that's what we like.
Yeah, you guys have came quite far since you first launched, but you know, this is now the beginning. This is where we get to enter, you know, some of the mania phase. It'll be interesting over the next 18 months or so. What's up,
Yeah.
Dogfather? How you been?
Hey, GM. Yeah, great to see Doge theme space. I mean, just the right time. Yeah, I mean, Doge Labs, if you can keep up with the tickets, man, there's no hype. That's how it should be. If the tickets are not 4 digits, 5 digits, then this is not the real project, right? So that's you see that the interest is coming back. The memes are getting louder. People, you know, like Murad, we're talking about old meme coins that they won't make it, that they have some new tickers that they can chill. And you see that the old memes like Doge, sheep, you know, we have now 2 dog themed meme coins in the top 10. You know, if you rule out like the Tether and the USDCs, it's even higher. So that shows that, you know, the old meme coins and the mother of all meme coins like Doge is not that. That's very important. And now, you know, all the developers are working like 28 hours a day, you know, to ship stuff. That's great to see. And I hope that we take this wave to really have like robust infrastructure, you know, being shipped, that's reliable, that's being used, that's being maintained, because of all the attention that the whole space receives. And also that we have some cool old projects like Doge Party, you know, see some you know, research of interest. So that would be cool. So a few people know that Doge is not just Doginals and everything like afterwards, like DRC-20s, but that they are like, it was a real pioneering space and chain where we had like in 2014 already experiments on Doge, and it's all still there. And we can be really proud to build on Doge. It's not some shitty, you know, chain, but it's really a chain of huge history and an amazing community, an amazing brand. So I'm super pumped. I could ramble here for hours, but yeah, just you know, glad that we are back.
The Doge father is back. You know, it is interesting now that the Doginal community exists now for about 18 months, and we're getting into this experimentation, you know, layer of the application layer on top of Doge. You have obviously first people to the market are generally the marketplaces, right? Because you need a place to trade these assets as well with wallets. But now we're seeing some actual programmability or attempts at programmability with, Leica with the layer 2. I believe there was a few other protocols that had been, experimented over the last 12 months or so. I believe the track team or the tap team is coming over to Doge as well. So, this is what's really important is that, on a decentralized blockchain or with a decentralized protocol, the application layer always takes much longer to develop than people would like. But then it has a lot more sustainability. And this is something you see actually with the runes right now on Bitcoin, is that the application layer is very decentralized. It's just a bunch of people kind of just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what will work. And, a lot of things fail, but a few things will end up being very successful and to bring, kind of the next, or onboard, the next wave of users to Dogecoin. That's more than just, trading the meme coin. Although that'll probably always be the foundation. It's time, right? Adam, we've talked about this with like Bell's coin, where, in Bell's coin infancy, it's like, do you treat it as a meme coin, or do you treat it as kind of this like blockchain for developers? And it's always kind of this catch-22 of how to go about it. But with Dogecoin, it started out as a meme coin. Now they're trying to get developers. It seemed like with Bell's, it was like developers that eventually goes into a meme coin.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to lean into the development first while the blockchain was super clunky, and that served us well from like the development standpoint of making the blockchain actually like function. But I think at the end of the day, the community wants to lean into the meme coin aspect, because meme coins, you can't price meme coins, right? You can price a fast L1 blockchain, like that has a price, right? Litecoin's $5 billion, but a meme coin can go to $50 billion, right? Meme coins have no price. So you always want to be a meme coin for sure.
At the end of the day. What's good, Fitzy? I'd love to, hear your thoughts and, maybe some other things that you may be working on.
GM, guys. A lot of intelligent people on the stage. How are we doing? And Adam, that's a really nice PFP, man. What collection's that from?
Go on, man.
Rhetorical question. You don't have to answer it. I'm good. I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm not really into Doge. Like, I've never historically been into Doge, but I saw the space. Obviously, Tap is, I don't think it's a secret that Tap's obviously been saying for a while that, Tap.
Spill the alpha, Fitzy. Spill the alpha.
You want me to spill some alpha?
Give us some alpha.
Give me 1 second to prepare.
Drum rolls.
I would say before Christmas, Tap Protocol and the track indexer, they'll be on Doge.
Oh shit! Tell us? Simplify that. What does that actually mean? Like, what does that unlock for the Dogecoin community?
So, my obviously expertise is on the Bitcoin side of the company. However, I've been reliably told by people like X, who's also on stage, that it's literally the same. So the joy for me is that telling you this stuff is actually easier than I thought it would be. It's literally just how I would explain it, as if I was explaining it on Bitcoin. So the TLDR on the indexer is, of course, for anybody that's not aware, the indexer is just going to be able to read the chain and provide information to devs in digital filing cabinets, so they don't have to run their own indexes, which is huge. And then the protocol itself is, on Bitcoin, so therefore on Doge, it will be the same, the most programmable protocol on the chain at L1 level. So if you're talking about meme coins, you might have seen, if you follow Tap already, that literally the first DEX on L1 Bitcoin just launched in beta about 10 days ago called Taparoo Swap. Literal DEX. No L2s, no swapping, no bridging, no wrapping. Just you're doing that at L1 level with assets, so Doge to assets or Bitcoin to assets in a full DEX, peer-to-peer, full AMMs, everything. So that's the kind of programmability, real DeFi primitives. So if you can do it on Tap on Bitcoin, you're going to be able to do that, on Doge. That's it.
Could you give us, maybe a list, or, what are some successful projects that are on Tap, and then, what type of, properties do they possess? Just trying to, give some insight to some of the community members who maybe even not, or who aren't familiar with Tap.
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, I guess the question really is think like the verticals that you can build within with on the chain if you have access to the protocol, right? So, gaming, metaverse, swaps, lending, liquidity pools, staking, inscription tools, all of these kind of things. That's not really a brand new thing, obviously. Inscription tools to any chain, or maybe it is, but essentially anything. Like if you want to build it, the way I would talk about Tap and do talk about Tap when I go to conferences and things and speak on stages is literally this. It's a Bitcoin native Ethereum. So it's a Doge native Ethereum, right? Is the true TLDR. There is no limit to what you can build. All of the TVL, well, the lack of TVL, literally zero TVL that you have on Bitcoin is now able to do and lock it in via Tap. The same, it's literally copy paste it for Doge. It's literally the same. So we've been flirting with this even before I was in the company in the last 6 months, and never made a real announcement, but the time has come. So that's happening.
Programmability is coming by Christmas. Yeah, I think we had Benny on here. Well, that had to be some point last year, and he had mentioned that he was looking into Dogecoin. It's awesome that you guys are now finally make it over. From the, I guess have you guys, are there any projects that have approached you or the Tap team about using Tap on Doge?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak too much about any individual projects. I think the first thing is make the protocol live, and then take it from there. But there is one particular project that maybe people might already be following. A few people in the audience might be following it, but it's Magic Degen. So at much Degen, I can pin it to the top. But I would just suggest you might want to follow that.
Magic Degen. Adam almost spit out his coffee right on the screen.
It's a great name, bro. I love good branding, man. I love good branding.
So that's not me. That's not me. But I'd love to claim it. But I've pinned it at the top, so I would just suggest follow that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look into it. One final follow up as well, because I'm sure people are thinking this. So if you have, a DRC-20 like a Doji, is there any way for that to bridge into this new protocol? Would you have to issue, instead, or would you have to like issue new tokens on the Tap on Doge? And yeah, is there any kind of cross compatibilities there?
Yeah, I think this is a good question, because one, it's really making me just think before I speak. Because I am literally copy and pasting my thoughts on Bitcoin. So Tap protocol is a token standard. So instinctually, my mind is from day one, you're not going to be able to have that be absorbing something else. If there's a dev in the audience who's saying that I'm wrong, then absolutely fine. I'm a marketing guy, but no, Tap is a token standard. So, and the reason that's important for anybody wondering is that when you have if we just use Bitcoin as an example, there was DRC-20, there is runes, right? These are token standards, and you can do basic things with them, but they're certainly not what we would call programmable. You're not going to be able to have an asset that has a smart contract that allows multi-stakeholders to be paid out when somebody within a metaverse, for example, builds it on their map, and then that's within a particular gaming world, and it's selling merch for a particular, or wearables for a particular brand, right? That's a complex programmability feature, right, of a protocol, and that's what Tap is. So Tap tokens will enable you to simply do more. So I think the short answer to the question is no, but doesn't mean that it's impossible. I'm just saying from day one, are we doing that, or would we do that? I mean, and let me clarify one thing. What Tap protocol is not coming here to do is develop all the infrastructure for the Doge ecosystem. We simply know that there's a demand for it from the ecosystem. We're putting the protocol on the chain. We're indexing the chain. And then it's down to the existing builders. This is just literally putting an engine and saying, do what you want to do. I'm just telling you what you can do.
Yeah, we've learned this from the Emblem Vault side a lot. Is you can build all these toolings, but you also have to provide some guidance in terms of what direction
of course
builders need to go. So I completely agree with
you.
But
it won't be me. All I can tell you is it won't be me.
Sometimes it has to be, but you prefer not to. Doginals, you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question towards Pity. Like, how are you going to approach the launch? I guess, of course, it's like a development part, but I think from marketing, you also have a say in this. Like, and I'm especially talking about like issuing the base token and so on? Will there be like a community-driven mint, or I don't know, how are your plans there?
Yeah, we're not launching a token.
No? Okay.
No. As I said, we're not here to try and launch a token. We're here to provide the tools that people need to unlock liquidity and make it TVL on Doge.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of stagnant capital sitting on Dogecoin right now.
Yeah.
It is. So Fitzy, could Dogecoin, the base asset, be used within Tap? I believe Bitcoin, the base asset, can be used in Tap on Bitcoin, correct?
Oh, 1,000,000%. This to make this very clear, we're talking about native interaction between Doge and Tap. The same way that on Bitcoin, if anybody doesn't already follow Tap protocol, I'm not saying follow it to get into Bitcoin. I'm just saying, if you look at what's possible on Tap protocol, what we've announced, the products that build, it's the same. It's just the same. It's just that this is day one, and it will be released, and then I'm reliably informed and logically, obviously, I've figured it out that is huge for Doge. But I am the Bitcoin side. I'm not here to become. It's actually interesting that I'm here. It's just that I saw the space, popped in, came on stage, and now I'm talking about it. It wasn't necessarily a plan, but it's yeah. I just want to be clear that we're not saying we're coming here to build all of the infrastructure and things. However, what you have on Tap, let me just give you an example, right? We already have a wallet. We already have an inscription tool that's being developed. We already have marketplace, right? And so these blueprints, these scaffoldings, right? These products, these consumer products, consumer-facing products, they will be available. But we're not saying that we're here to build everything, right? Tap is a software development company at the end of the day, and that is what this is. It's just that software is going to be compatible with Doge as well as Bitcoin because of the structure of the chain.
Correct. Right. Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's a lot of, you got $50 billion of stagnant Dogecoin liquidity just sitting there, and just being inflated away. So
Bitcoin at 1.75 trillion now. It's honestly, it's weird having this conversation because I literally, until I came on stage, have never been in a Doge space, have never spoken on Doge. I think I bought some Doge on a SEX maybe like 7 years ago or something, and I probably lost it. But then X actually sent me some what am I saying? I'm just completely losing the fucking language. Nat dogs. He sent me some Nat dogs. And so he kind of onboarded me to Doge last week. So it's just an interesting dynamic to be able to even speak to you guys who are like OGs, and I literally am not. So that's funny, just while I'm in the moment.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming up here and sharing that. I know the community is very excited. Now we just got to get a bunch of builders out here to use the actual engine to build the car and the vehicle.
Just go grab that TVL. If anyone's listening, building a vertical, grab the TVL. It's the same advice for Bitcoin. It's the exact same for Doge.
Awesome. We're going to go Dogfather and then Wen right after.
So yeah, Fitzy, welcome to the fun chain, man. I think everything that's proof of work in OG, nothing like VC funded, is pretty close. So you feel at home, right? I mean, it's not that different. It's just a bit faster. It's a bit cheaper. It's a bit more fun. So you can say this is a perfect field of experimentation, and fuck around and find out. And for that, I think it's pretty cool. So also, like if people want to have NFT collection or so, this can be pretty pricey on Bitcoin and can take a while. While you can play around, and you can see the best artists, they may move from Doge to Bitcoin one day because you make your name, you're on a cheaper chain. It's like being on Solana and later on Ethereum, right? The same thing, like you can see it's on Doge. It's fast, it's cheap, you can play. If you're really good and you attract attention, then you move up the ladder, right? You go to Bitcoin. So that can be a real it's like a farm team, right? For a pro team. So let's look at it like that. And let's see whether we have all these cool functionalities also on Doge. Let's go.
That's a great point. And I guess I wasn't really going to go that deep into it, but ultimately, yes, I guess it sounds disrespectful to just talk so early about Doge and then talk about Bitcoin in the same breath, right? You guys are all Doge people. I know some of you, are across, but maybe some of you are, fully Doge, right? So I guess stage one, build these things on Doge, but absolutely, if you what was the analogy you used, like a sports team, like, you know, if you're in the youth team and then you want to step up, right? If you believe that you want to then port that across to the protocol, this is one of the joys of Tap protocol, is that it can be embedded within different chains, right? So yeah, I love that point, and absolutely, you know, but I think it's big for Doge, and I'm sure in this bull market people are going to be focusing on Doge, right? You guys are going to be building on Doge, and but Tap's on Bitcoin, it's already there. If anybody wants to see the playbook and what you can do, literally, since August last year, it's been live on Bitcoin. So there's a lot of stuff already built. Meme coins just arrived on Bitcoin L1. So that's kind of the alpha in itself, I guess, with what you can do with Tap. And the other point I would make for anybody that's not, I didn't finish the thought bubble earlier, and I'm bad at this. You probably know that people have been in the space with me before. But I'll finish the point. The indexer is significant because my understanding is that there is a lot of stuff built on Doge, but there are multiple indexes, right? And so I think, again, I'm not going to speak out of turn here, but I think if that is still a problem, then that's also why Track is bullish, right? If correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's one of the things that the Doge side is. When again, before I arrived in the company, well before I arrived in the company, actually, people were thinking, okay, it will be bullish if Tap and Track came, and it's obviously a lot of months have elapsed without that happening. But I think the Track index a bit is that fact that people have been there building, grinding, adding a lot of value, but the friction was still there. So I think I'm right in saying that that's bullish in itself.
Maybe just slightly a little bit bullish. One thing to tack on, I do remember, tack on a Dogfather's statement. I do remember last year when Bitcoin mempool fees were becoming insane. You saw like a migration or transition to people trading Doginals and DRC-20. So that's just something that we've seen, is that people view Doge as, you know, an alternative to a Bitcoin. Also shares a lot of the same community members. What's up, Wen?
Yo, thanks for having me up. I would follow up on that. Is like, I didn't get into Doge until Doginals, and I got into Doginals because of Ordinals. You know, in early stages when, you know, you needed a friend to inscribe or your own node, and just like you said, as mempool started getting clogged up, and as information started getting consolidated about, you know, it was like the combination of mempool demand and like kind of stealthy little secret launches that ended up blowing up, and you felt like, oh, I missed out because I wasn't in the wrong group or whatever. The Doge side of things really made sense for the scaling of it. It opens up so much more. You know, it's you know, a lot of people still don't run a node. I chose to easily come over and do that. It seemed easier than running a Bitcoin node. And the reason I never got into Doge before was, I'm like, okay, as an investor, which was always been my primary role in this space, was, yeah, it'll go up in up cycles, but it's a hyperinflationary system. But once I saw that flipped into inscription meta, I'm like, this will always make it available and affordable to use as the network token. Whereas before, when it was, you know, only tipping, it was like, okay, fine, it's fun and it's a meme. But now it's like meme to utility, and I think that's fantastic, and that's why, you know, I'm here. You know, also building, always doing other things. One behind a fairly launched meme token as Wen, you know, that shares the you know, the same properties as like Sats on Bitcoin, where, you know, it took 21 million mints to get out there. But interesting with this other infrastructure coming in, as Fitzy's talking about. Will there be an SDK like for other builders to like tap into, or do they have to come in and run the whole infra themselves in order to build with it?
I think we're sort of going into the realms of you know, where I feel uncomfortable as a marketing guy talking about, you know, the SDKs for devs and stuff like that. I would say this is literally what this conversation wasn't supposed to be had today. It was just so weird. I literally popped in and I was like, okay, let me come on stage, and I was just like, okay. I messaged Benny and I said, I know that we want to announce something at some point. This, you know, I'm on a stage. What do you empower me to say? And he said, look, just, you know, say the basics. So I think maybe I've gone too far. I've probably actually gone too far. So
Well, I think
I'm
to
sure.
be fair, I think we've known. I mean, there've been hints along the way with like so many different things. Like even as far back as like the first like hoorah pump cycle of Doginals, like February, March, and then things dried up, and it makes sense. It's like there's not as much to talk about, and only the ones who are like really digging in continued to talk and do the work. Not that I mean, there was still probably work being done on the back end, but maybe like choosing different priorities but keeping that stream going. So that's cool to hear. I think again, I agree with you that grabbing verticals, running with them, capturing TVL. There's a lot of things. You know, one thing I will mention that maybe people don't know is there is already an AMM on layer 1 with Dogecoin, which they came up through the Bitcoin Startup Lab and decided to shift completely over to Doge after being with Bitcoin for a while. They just thought, okay, like we could be a small fish in a large pond, or the big fish in a small pond, and yeah. So there's pools there. They're reconfiguring a few things right now, but like something I have being built is leveraging their SDK, and that's why I asked, because if I can literally tap into other protocols, then it'll make things even more robust.
Yeah, I mean, look, the invisible hand is a phrase that is used a lot. At the end of the day, just because Tap arrives and because Track arrived, it doesn't mean that in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 20 years time that it's the dominant protocol. At the end of the day, people can always build what they want to build, and if someone builds something more advanced, then fair enough. But I think, again, it still feels weird talking about Doge. I'm just, I have no authority here. It's so weird to be talking in absolutes, because it literally is just the same. It is the same sort of chain construction, right? So yeah, I'll stop. But essentially, to actually answer the question, I'm going to say I don't know the answer regarding things like SDKs and all this other stuff. All I know is there'll be more information. This is now clearly, kind of official, and I'm sure you record. Yes, you're recording this, so someone's going to, I'm sure, clip this up. So people are going to know about this. So at the end of the day, just expect more. We just, maybe we just sort of like, we're just opening the door and saying it's happening, and then we'll see what happens.
Fantastic. And yeah. Just one quick little tag on then is there, you're saying like, oh, I'm the Bitcoin side. Does that mean there's like a Doge like dedicated like aspect to it, or are they sharing all the same devs and they might have to flip back and forth?
I'm always honest with this stuff. I don't work with the dev team directly, so I don't know what that setup is. And again, these kind of questions I'm sure will come out more. But all I can tell you is, when I came into the company 6 months ago, the conversations on Doge were already happening, as you guys already know. I literally, as you can tell, and as I keep making it clear, I'm not on the Doge side. So we have people within the team who are more Doge, very, very Doge. So that, again, that sort of stuff will come out in time. But yeah, I'll choose not to start saying things that I'm not 100% on in terms of development power.
Yeah, Tap is coming. Programmability is coming. I think I just saw during this conversation, the Doggy Market put out a new update to their marketplace. Also, DoggyFi, which is the DEX trading platform, released some tooling. I think SDK and some other infra stuff. And then the oil team also has something called Metashrew for Sheeb. So a lots of tools now for the builders to do something with it. Now they just actually have to go out and execute.
One question I have is are all those companies, is everybody using the open source indexer now? Is everybody kind of on the same page with that?
You're talking about,
Actually,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think Dogify looked at that that indexer and decided they could speak for themselves, but this is what I understand is that it wouldn't scale very well, and they built their own. And then that's the SDK that you can plug into now.
Got it. So they built like their own meta protocol almost.
Yeah, I think maybe they just looked at how to grab the data like differently. Like engineered it.
Does it still work with DRC-20 and
Oh,
dudes?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It works. Yeah. It I think it opens up a lot more ease. And that's what I like is that, you know, you can plug into their stuff. So, you know, if everybody has to run an indexer, it makes hard for building. But we can get more verticals, which grabs more. It's like, you know, it's the scaling of how all things scale is most people would just want to open up a single business, like a single vertical to create that actual community. And that's where the retail goes in and out of those doors. The retail doesn't really usually even think about the infrastructure. And so it's creating more of that. And it's bridging that space in between where I still do think like more and more infrastructure is necessary to keep the rails smooth. But if you don't have anything easy to build on, then you don't get the mom and pop shops.
Yes, sir. I'm excited for it, man. This is an awesome space. I appreciate everyone who joined us on stage today, especially Very Doge Labs. Congrats on the rebrand. Also awesome to see Tap coming out and Fitzy and X and Docs and everyone who joined us. You know, really awesome space. We are going to wrap it up here. If you guys enjoyed the space, please follow the Emblem Vault account so you could follow everything we're doing in the cross-chain space. We do have some Dogecoin products also coming out probably at the beginning of next year as well. We have a lot of stuff coming. Please make sure you guys follow Very Doge Labs and everyone, and Fitzy and everyone else on stage who's contributing to the Doginals community. Obviously, Dogecoin is now above 50 billion, sitting at number 6. So a lot of attention as Elon on January 20th moves into the Department of Government Efficiency, and the word Doge is just continuously shilled for political and financial and mimetic reasons. So exciting times. We also show Tuesday through Thursday, so we'll be back here tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us. Stay safe out there and prepare for the next 18 months.